Court, note that we have three motions. We have plaintiff's motion for compensation to enforce judgment of divorce and defendant's motion to remove property. So I've read all the pleadings. Ms. Osborne, is there anything else that you'd like to add other than what's been provided in the pleadings?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Osborne, is there anything else that you'd like to add other than what's in the pleadings?
I would, Your Honor. I'm not sure how to go about this, but the plaintiff has just defiantly not let me in to get my own personal property, and I have done nothing but follow your judgments, and she has done everything to obstruct it. She has defied everything that you said, and she's not gotten any reprimandation for any of it. And I want my stuff. I want a divorce. The judgment's been passed. I still haven't gotten my car that was in the judgment. I still haven't gotten anything.
Sir, in her pleading, she's talked about the number of times you've been to the property. Why haven't you gotten those stuff all out at that time?
Well, what's happening is that she says things, but what she always says doesn't always really true, because she says that I've been there and I haven't. She said that I broke into the house 4 different times. I haven't. I've been there 3 times, like you said, Your Honor, and every time I've been obstructed by her, with her changing the locks on the building and telling me, "Oh, I didn't do anything." And I've got 7 people out here with trucks and trailers trying to make my best attempt at getting this done, but she stands in the way doing that again. The second time it rained, I couldn't get all my stuff there. The third time, this last time, she did the same thing.
Okay.
She was not supposed to be there, and she was there.
Did you do as she stated? Did you drill a hole through the door?
I did. Yes, that was
Okay.
what you asked. When I was here last time, Your Honor, and we had the same conversation. You said, when the court says to do something, Mr. Osborne, you do it. If the court says to get your stuff, I don't care if you have to drill the locks, if you have to kick the door in. I don't care. What the court says is get your stuff, and you do what you have to do. So that's why I did that. I was trying to get my stuff as you ordered.
Okay.
So I went out there, and I still have stuff. And in other proceedings, you told me that if my stuff was gone, and there's a lot of stuff that's missing from my garage, and I have pictures of her and her Lonnie Osborne, her boyfriend, taking with a door wide open to my pole barn. So I'm just wanting to get compensated for my stuff. It's gone.
Well, you're going to have to bring that in later. What we want to do is get your stuff out. I'm going to give you another date, and the last date. It'll be this coming Saturday. And
Your Honor, he's already
quiet.
Okay.
Quiet. It'll be on February 1st, 2025 at 12 o'clock noon. Be out there with everybody that you need to get all your stuff out. Okay.
Yeah, so here's
and I'm going to order that Miss Osborne not be present, that she can have a third party present to supervise, etc., but she would not be present. And I want you to get all your stuff, because this is it. This is the last time. The stuff you don't remove, if it's left there, then it's going to be her property at that point.
okay. So here's my only concern, Your Honor. I have so much stuff that I can't move it in one setting. The property that I have is down in a hole, so I can't always, like the trailer that I have, I can't take it out of there because I'm get stuck in the yard. Should I just tear up the whole yard to get it out of there? I'm doing my best, but I can't get it out of there in a 4-hour setting.
Do the best you can. And if in fact the yard is destroyed as a result, the court's going to order that you take action to put it back and correct it at some future point. But I want all the property out this Saturday from 12 o'clock noon until you have to get out of there. Okay.
Okay. So just to clarify, it's 12 o'clock till I get my stuff out of there, because this has been the problem. I haven't had enough time, and she calls the police and they kick me out of there. So as long as that's the stipulation,
now,
I'll make it
I'll do it. I'll do it from 12 o'clock noon. Can you get it all out of there by 7 o'clock p.m.?
No, I can't. I know that I can't because there's too much stuff. So I'm just being honest with you and telling you.
Then get more people and do it, because I want it out.
I do the best I can.
I'll give it to noon until 7 o'clock p.m. So you have 7 hours.
So I get 7 hours to get 38 years worth of stuff out of that house and my
7 hours. You've had other days, sir. So I can't.
I have, but they've been interrupted every time by the plaintiff with her antics every time.
Okay, that's going to be the order of the court, and then I'll look at it in the future if we need to do anything else at this point. I know she had filed to enforce the judgment, claiming that you had not been making the mortgage payments. Is that correct?
That is not correct. I have been doing the best that I can, but the first 60 days when she pulled this antics and kicked me and had me eradicated from my house, that's where I work. So I
Okay.
had 60 days where I
The
couldn't
or,
work. You
the
don't
order
care.
isn't, the order isn't premised on the best you can. It's premised on what the order is. So you're
That's
gonna,
fine.
you're gonna have to bring the mortgage current within 30 days of today's date.
And
And,
then what, you gonna give her the house?
in the event, in the, yeah,
Jesus
in the
Christ,
event
man,
that,
that's
in the
joke.
event that you don't do that, the court can take other action. Or the
Mhm.
court could reopen and change the distribution of the other properties.
That's
So
awesome, man.
make
That's
sure that
awesome.
make sure you do
I
it.
can't do it. I'm doing the best I can. That's
Okay.
what you don't understand. I've been taken out of my environment, put
Okay.
somewhere else, and I don't
Understand.
have
I
any way to make
understand
a
all
living.
that.
I'm doing the best that I can, Your Honor.
Now we're trying to get this resolved. That's going to be the order of the court.
What
And
a joke.
Ms. Osborne, you're going to have to do an order, which would in fact require that he bring that current within 30 days of today's date.
Okay, what about my front door, the safety of our
We
child?
we'll have to address that at another point. I'm not
I
going to.
have an estimate for $2,500 right here.
Not
for
Yeah,
my-
bad.
that's-
That's good.
That's
That's good for a
crazy
door
that
handle.
somebody's, you'd have to have a substantial door for $2,500.
Yeah,
It's
just a rip
not.
off of everything else she does.
The brick molding has to come off and
Okay.
all the trim inside, Your Honor.
Oh, sure.
Not
On
gonna,
a door
sir,
handle.
sir, don't interrupt. She didn't interrupt you.
Yeah, whatever.
Sir, no more. We'll take that up at a further date if we have to, but those are what we're gonna do today is address removing the property and the mortgage payments. So ma'am, you'll have to do an order, which will state that he'll bring those current within 30 days of today's date.
How do
Just
I
give
do
her
an
the house,
order
might
of
as well
that?
just give it to her.
That's, you'll just look at the orders that are there and
That's
you'll
a
have to
joke.
prepare an order and submit under
I'm
7 day
sorry,
notice.
I can't hear over Mr. Osborne, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Osborne, stop talking. You'll have to do an order just like the orders that appear in the file already, and then you'll have to submit it under a 7 day notice of entry. And Mr. Osborne, you'll have to prepare an order stating that you have a right to remove the property. And on that particular date, up to 7 hours, and submit that under a 7 day notice of entry.
So what, can I say something, Your Honor? What's gonna happen here is I'm not gonna get the paperwork, and then I'm gonna go out there to get the stuff, and then she's gonna call the police, and the police are gonna come, and I'm not gonna have the paperwork, so they're not gonna let me in there, and I'm gonna come back and you're gonna tell me, well, it's all gone. I give you your last chance.
Your
Well,
Honor, just,
so hold on. If that's the case, Miss Osborne, if he's not able to get it this Saturday, then the court will give him another date if in fact you are obstructing him from getting that property. So he's got from noon until 7 p.m. this Saturday to remove the property.
may I say something, Your Honor?
Go
He's
ahead.
been out here multiple times. He drilled through the door instead of getting what he was supposed to get, which was his
More
trailer in the backyard. He decided to come through the front door and cause,
Okay.
it was violent. And he stayed until December 1st, Your Honor, till 4 in the morning.
Stop.
Keep going, just keep going.
Sir, don't talk. We will address that at a future point. Those are the orders of the court for today, and submit the orders, and hopefully everybody will abide by them. If not, maybe somebody needs to go to jail until such time as they abide by the orders. So that will be the order today. You're free to go. Have a good day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court will note that this matter is before the court on the defendant's motion to cease and desist return of marital property in this matter. Mr. Osborne, you can proceed with your motion.
Well, Your Honor, thank you. I would just like to figure out how she's being able to take all our marital property and give it to other people, and I still haven't been able to get mine. It started off with the first time you granted me the motion in April, and Tiffany has changed the locks on the pole barn, and then I had 7 people with 7 trailers out there to try to get all my belongings, personal and business, and you granted me 4 hours. Well, I've got 38 years of stuff out there in the pole barn, and I have not still been able to get to it. 2 weeks later, after we found out that
Let me ask you that. As the court set a date on March 23rd, why didn't you get it at that time?
I didn't get it that day because Tiffany had changed the locks on the pole barn and told me that they were the same. Well, I had arranged 7 people out there with 7 trailers to try to get as much as I could in a 4-hour period, but she changed the lock, so I was unable to do that.
Your Honor,
On that day.
Hold on, ma'am. I'm letting him talk. Don't interrupt.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Okay, so, well, if that's the case and you couldn't get in and get them, why did you wait now for basically, 8 months?
Well, I came back 2 weeks later to get the remains, for my first time to go in there, and it had rained. Well, my property is on a hill and it sloped down. So I couldn't get half of my tools out there because the ground was wet. I didn't have concrete. So I got as much as I could. And then that was it. And then she told me that it was all gone after that. So the last time we spoke, you had granted me the right to go out there on November 8th, and I couldn't go out there because I can't get in contact with Tiffany, and she doesn't follow through with anything that the courts say.
Okay, sir, let me stop you. If the court orders you go out on a particular date, that's the date you go out. Okay? If you go out there and let's say she's got a lock on the building, then you cut the lock off and you go in and get your stuff. Okay?
Okay, I didn't understand that. I was supposed to go on the 8th, but I have no way to get in contact with her, and I didn't want to go out there because she's got a PPO, and all she's trying to do is get me arrested and convicted of hemmed up in some charges.
Okay, if you've got a court order saying you can go out there and pick something up on that date, that's going to supersede any PPO that might be in existence. So
I never got anything. Sorry, go ahead, Your Honor.
So all I'm saying is you got to comply with the orders. And if one party isn't complying, the other party still has to comply. And it says, okay, you're going out on a particular date, you go out on that date and you do what you have to do on that date. Okay. It's not a case where, okay, you go out on a date, well, geez, I can't make it, or it's raining or it's snowing or whatever it is. So I couldn't do it. That's the date that you're supposed to go out. And if it doesn't work, then you come back in the court and say, Judge, I couldn't go out for this reason. I need another date, and the court can set another date at this point. But you just can't not comply with the order and then come in and complain that the other party didn't comply with the order because you didn't either.
I understand, Your Honor. I didn't have any paperwork because we were supposed to, I guess at the end of the judgment, I was supposed to get some kind of paperwork that Tiffany was supposed to fill out stating that this is what you came up with. You told her that she needed to do it. I still haven't received that. So I really had no paperwork to do that.
Okay, let me Ms. Osborne, what's your response?
Okay, he was a no-show. The barn was unlocked. He could have come and gotten his items, but he chose not to. That is not my fault. And what he's talking about, what happened in March, yes, I had it rekeyed, which I thought meant I had a duplicate to his key because I wasn't allowed out there. So I felt bad because he couldn't get in that weekend, and he arranged to come the following weekend, and he did. And he had several trailers take his things out, and I felt so bad about the first time he tried to retrieve his items that I let him in at least 10 times in that barn this summer, only to find out the last time that he was so comfortable coming and going, grabbing stuff from the barn, he put his own batteries in the keypad again. So I had to pluck the batteries out, lock it up, and then, every time he's contacted me, I've always let him come in and get his things, helmets, you name it. I mean, everything that's
Your Honor, that's
true. Sir, don't interrupt her. I told her not to interrupt you.
So he has come and gone multiple times. And I also have a video of him coming here and loading things from the barn up when he thought I wasn't home. And that was when I was picking Paisley up from school. He didn't think I was at the house.
Okay. Well, obviously we want to get the things resolved as it relates. Let me ask, sir, are you able to get to the property on November 30th at 12 o'clock noon?
Yes, I should be able to.
Okay.
November 30th.
Yep. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Your Honor, may I tell you that I'm a little nervous about whatever's out there. He's going to sell. He's not paying his child support properly, and he has broken the PPO and gotten a hold of me on Thursday evening.
Okay. Well, let me tell you what happens is, again, either person, if either of you have sold marital property, you'll be accountable for that in the divorce action. So if, let's say, I don't know, let's say there was a table saw, and ma'am, if you sold that, you're going to be liable for the amount of the cost for that table saw, or vice versa. I didn't ask you about whether, I'm just telling you an example.
Okay.
If he did it, he's gonna be responsible for the cost of that as well. So all I want to do is get the issues of personal property resolved if we can. So I'm gonna order at this point, the last and final time, sir, on November 30, 2024, at 12 o'clock noon, you can get out to the property. I'll have man make sure the property, the barn or whatever it is unlocked. If it's not unlocked, he has a right to break the lock off and get in there. And he
Yes,
can
sir.
get all the personal property. Ma'am, if you want to get in and make an inventory first and take picture, you have a right to do that. But what happens, I want to make sure that that gets resolved and, also order the parties, you can't dispose of anything just because it's in your possession. It's still marital property, subject to division by the court. So that will be the order. Sir, you're gonna have to do an order that's gonna say order that you have access on the November 30th date at 12 o'clock noon to get in, to get that personal property. And just do an order. You can submit under a 7-day notice of entry, and then you'll have the order this time when you go out there. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Free to go. Have a good day.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
too.
They just recently started taking my child support out when I got my job. My first paycheck, they took child support, and it's like, y'all want me to pay that much, but how am I supposed to survive? I'm working part-time, not full-time. This is the only reason why I haven't had a job, and I took the time to go get a job because I want to do something different. But for y'all to just hit me with this all at once and not giving me a chance to like get on my feet, like, it's not fair to me.